Nothing of significance was adduced in court to prove beyond.
While delivering judgment in the murder of ASP Muhammad Kirumira and Nali Nyareste, the presiding judge Margaret Mutonyi acquitted Abubakar Kalungi of all the offences.
The accused denied participating in the gruesome murder and denied having made any voluntary confession in regard to participation in the alleged murder. There is no evidence that he explained to him in a language he understands, yet he boasted of over 30 years' experience as a police detective. Beyond reasonable doubt that the subscribers or users of the numbers under investigations were Kalungi the accused and the one Katerega.
Court was of the view that prosecution failed to prove its case before court and that the investigations in the matter were done poorly.
On the ingredient of participation, as it relied on fanciful speculation that it was the ADF rebels that killed the two deceased persons, without even adducing any evidence linking the accused to ADF rebels.
You know, investigations are like when you're going into investigations, you don't know what you're going to uncover. And when you uncover evidence, when it is put together by the investigators and it is brought to us, we actually read it and we see a case. We sanction such a case and it goes to court. But when it goes to court, it also takes its own life. We cannot control witnesses, how they testify, and at the end of the day, the judicial officer makes a decision according to how they have perceived the evidence that is brought before them. And we always take such criticism. When they say investigations were done poorly, we take it positively and we go back to the drawing board and say, how did we do this? That's why we have meetings with the CID. And that's why today I'm very happy that we have launched the prosecution-guided investigations, because going forward, we are going to have, especially murder cases, cases of corruption, we are going to have them prosecution-guided so that we move together. And we always take such criticism. When they say investigations were done poorly, we take it positively and we go back to the drawing board and say, how did we do this? That's why we have meetings with the CID.
The Director of Public Prosecution's Office has welcomed the court's decision and highlighted issues that failed their office in prosecuting the matter.
What did we do wrong? What didn't we do right in a particular case? It's all a learning experience. But by the time we take cases to court, we actually believe in them, that we are going to succeed. We cannot control witnesses, how they testify, and at the end of the day, the judicial officer makes a decision according to how they have perceived the evidence that is brought before them. I don't think I can say that there is something wrong that the police are doing. As you know, crime is evolving very, very fast. Every second, actually, crime is evolving. And which means that calls for rigorous training for investigators, rigorous training for prosecutors, for even judicial officers. Because I'm telling you, even if we trained as investigators and prosecutors and we take very good cases to court, as long as the judicial officer doesn't understand the case, they will acquit. They will definitely acquit. That is why the training has to be across board. That's the challenge we have in CID. They're also grappling with numbers. So every time they are getting new people, they have to train them. And of course, you know that with the COVID-19 and all this, the budget for training has been scrapped. So you find that now you actually have to depend on trainings now which are joint. If the ODPP is arranging training, if we get some training, some kind of training from some, we always emphasize that we must have our investigators, because now we know that cases, as you know, are actually lost or won at investigations. As a prosecutor, I'll read a particular file and I know that I'm not going to struggle with this file, that I'm going to succeed in it. So at the very time that I am actually committing this case to court or starting the hearing of a case and starting to bring my witnesses, I will know that I will actually get a conviction or this is going to be an acquittal. But some of the time you find it is normally towards the end of the case.
Meanwhile, the DPP's office commented on the public expectation from the DPP's office in handling the matter.
Managing public expectations is very difficult. If we say that we are going to please them, we shall be very miserable as prosecutors, as investigators, even as judicial officers. We do not want to please the public. We just want to do what is right. And sometimes the public expectations, after they've had a case, they have seen it, but when it goes to court, it actually fails. And sometimes the public feels that we have failed them. But so many other processes go behind, you know. It's just like preparing a meal. That a lot of ingredients go into making that meal. By the time that meal is served to you, you do not actually think about what processes have gone through. So that's exactly what the Directorate of CID does. That's exactly what our office does. So going forward, I see that these guidelines we have launched today are going to be a game changer, because we are going to now have to sit with investigators at the onset of a case. And you'll see that the case actually will move very fast. And we have tried it, cases where we have done prosecution guided. From the very start of a case, cases move faster, they are more focused, and they are more likely to get a conviction in such cases. And of course the public, in their expectations, we also have expectations from them to come and testify and give good evidence in court according to what they saw. So if you also have witnesses who have, because we really don't have X-ray eyes to see that a particular witness is lying. If a particular witness gives very good statement and is really a very good witness, you see that this one is going to be my star witness. But when they come to court, they crumple. You see, they crumple, and then can you blame that on a prosecutor or an investigator? No, you don't. So the success of a case takes everyone. Everyone. It takes society, it takes us as prosecutors, it takes the investigators, and of course the judicial officers. Because when you're handling these cases, you don't handle them in a vacuum. You're handling cases about people's lives. So you should be alive also to circumstances around a particular case at the end of the day.
Following the court's decision, the Director of Public Prosecution's Office has expressed its intention to appeal the decision.
We always don't just mechanically appeal. We look at where we went wrong, and we read the judgment, we look at what evidence we actually produced, and if we see that the judge made a mistake or a magistrate made a mistake, then we shall definitely appeal. And in this particular case, we are also going to do the same. We're going to scrutinize the file, look at the judgment and the sentence, and see whether we can appeal. And we shall appeal.
Lady Justice Jane Francis Nsala adds that, as the DPP's office, they are still determined to handle criminal offences.
And that's why today I'm very happy that we have launched the prosecution-guided investigations, because going forward, we are going to have, especially murder cases, cases of corruption, we are going to have them prosecution-guided, so that we move together in tandem with the investigators, so that we see what did we do wrong, what didn't we do right in a particular case. It's all a learning experience. But by the time we take cases to court, we actually believe in them, that we are going to succeed.